Every seed's a bet, and when the seed fails, it's not just the time or money that's lost, it's the blow to my motivation. I'm out here stacking the odds in my favor, shade, soil, and security, until the seeds feel like they're betting on me too. I have grand plans to build a desert forest. It feels so silly to get stuck on seeds not even germinating, but that is my experience so far. I walk around my ranch and I see acacia literally growing out of the side of a cliff. Trees do grow here, and they grow in some crazy spots. Comparison is the thief of joy. If nature can grow in highlight reel spots, like this desert willow in the middle of a gushing flood, it's practically growing in a fire hose, why can't I get some trees growing in a near perfect spot? Well, then I have to put on my analysis hat and admit that even though the spots are heavily amended, they obviously are not perfect because the trees don't even want to try growing. My Groasis grow boxes are the crown jewel of my work so far. While I've had success with transplants, they require a ton of work. I'm going to exhaust reasonable efforts to grow my trees exactly where I want them. If I finally hit the wall and I don't have any economical, effective ideas, yes, the grow boxes are where I'm going to turn. It's something that works, and I'm going to do whatever works that requires the minimum amount of effort. Until then, I'm building low tunnels to incorporate all of the lessons that I've learned to date. Shade, soil, and security so that I can grow trees in the desert with a minimum amount of work and still be successful. I don't know if we have enough buckets laying around because I'm going to need about, I think, 10 gallons of soil for 25 nests, maybe 15 gallons. You're the vibratory plate.
Yeah, but if I make it to where it vibrates,
yeah,
I can drop the angle a whole lot lower.
Oh.
That way we can load it with the mini.
That would be amazing. Here, I'll be the vibratory screen.
Oh, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you're more than welcome to do that. But...
This one gets stuck.
Although you're probably on the better side of it. So
yeah, it's blowing right in your face. All right, before you add more, let's mix it up and see how we're doing with the moisture, and I'll add some. This is our activated biochar. We mix it with rice bran and molasses. Let it sit with just a little bit of moisture for 30 days, and then we give it plenty of moisture and mix it all with the rest.
Okay. The charcoal itself, did someone bring that out?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I bought it. I bought 4 cubic yards of it. Yeah, it was a big deal getting it out here.
Let's move it out from underneath here because we're not adding any more soil.
Yeah, we're not going to add any more.
So let's move it.
Here we go.
All right, there you go. Teamwork.
There we go.
My shoulder ain't happy. That's all right, I'll get another one here.
I'm glad I added water because it's much easier to work with.
And a lot less dusty.
And a lot less dusty. I'm liking how that's looking now.
It does look like soil that you bought from the store.
Well, hopefully we'll get a good rain and then it'll hydrate my little potting mix. It looks and feels like soil. Look, and
it's straight up dirt now.
And it clumps like you want it to.
Yeah, this is what I would call dirt. It even smells like it.
It does smell like dirt.
It doesn't smell like the sand we get off the ground here.
Which unfortunately we smell every day.
Yeah.
This custom mix I've made, which is mostly screen sand and biochar with some compost mixed in, it looks good. It doesn't look amazing, but that's because we're in a desert. I'm not trying to make an amazing soil. I'm trying to make an amazing local soil that's not overly optimized. Because if you put desert plants in Miracle Grow or some super fertile compost, they're not used to that kind of nutrient load. There is such thing as too much of a good thing. Where I'm placing that custom mix is inside of the bird nests. Think about the soil, I'm mounding it up and then it's surrounded by hay, which is keeping the water in. But that has a secondary benefit after the seed germinates, because as the tree is tempted to send its roots outward, the roots grow out of the soil and into the hay where they are air pruned. If the tree tries to send its roots laterally, it's going to be forced to send them down because it literally runs out of dirt. Again, we're trying to design the system to get the roots down as fast as possible. We're just going to look at all this stuff. It's coming up on noon, and that means it's almost time for my afternoon crash. The coffee is wearing off, and I have to figure out what to do next. But that is where Mudwater comes in, because I cannot have 2 cups of coffee or I'm going to ruin my sleep. The way I like to take it is just with the ingredients directly. I think it tastes great. Masala chai is one of the primary ingredients. It's delicious, but it also has functional mushrooms to help you with energy and focus. Whether I'm here at home in Fort Worth or I'm on the Dust Ups Ranch, Mudwater is my midday bump. I hope you'll give Mudwater serious consideration. Scan the QR code that you see on the screen or click the link in the description. When you go to Mudwater and you check out, you'll get 15% off your order with the code DUSTUPS. And they include a free mixer, which I highly recommend. I didn't know I needed this in my life, but I really like that new toy. Your support of Mudwater and all of my sponsors is what makes the Dust Ups project possible. It pays for Daniel, the bulldozer, all the seeds, everything that goes into this. It's really expensive. I need your help. Mudwater is a great product. Please think about it. And now back to the episode. We're gonna count seeds for that we're gonna scarify. And we're just going to do it by species. These are all trees I've planted before. Palo verde, sweet acacia, mesquite. They're desert legumes that grow quickly and that should do very well out here on a minimum of water. There are other seeds in the mix. Some of them require scarifying with hot water. Not boiling water, but hot. Some just want some warm water, and some don't need any soaking at all. There's one thing I want to do. This Johnson Sioux compost has got to get used, so we'll just spread all of it on the terrace because it's literally a year old, so it's got to get used.
I've heard you talk about the Johnson Sioux in the videos, but what is it?
It's a super compost that has a really diverse and healthy mix of microbes growing in it.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those things where I'm just like, everybody says to do it, so I'm just trusting.
Okay. Did you buy it or make it?
A viewer sent it to me. Thank you, John. Any of the bags, really?
Any of them? Okay.
Okay, and my job is just to kind of guesstimate and make sure that I make it last for 23-ish holes. Okay, and then I'll use that to cover the seeds.
Are we doing every bag per hole?
Yeah.
Okay. The only problem is just how dry it is.
Yeah, that's why it's going to be super critical that we irrigate, because nothing's going to grow through that crust if I don't keep it wet. This terrace already has 22 yards of horse manure. That sounds like a lot. It is a lot, and then you mix it with sand and a bunch of rocks, and it doesn't look like it's actually there. The problem is at the surface. We cut a line of trenches, and we filled them with hydrogel and biochar. That is not for the trees in 5 years. It's for the trees in their first year of life. We're literally stacking water in the soil, encouraging the roots to go down as quickly as possible to get away from the sun and the wind. We want roots going where the water's going to be, and that is deep. The problem is that I'm not even getting to the 1 year growth in the first place. The desert sun bakes my amended soil and turns it into a crust. The seeds can't break through and roots can't breathe. It's that top millimeter of soil that needs to stay wet and humid to get the germination to occur. And that's why we massively overdid the hydrogel in the tires. We were desperate to keep the surface humidity, and I mean the surface, the absolute top layer, as moist as possible. Well, we succeeded, and the seeds that did germinate drowned. So there is a balance somewhere. We didn't find it yet.
If it could be like this weather all the time, it would be pretty nice.
Yeah. My project would be way more likely to succeed.
Yeah.
The weather would just change forever. Hi, Mike. It's starting to rain.
Yeah.
Okay, that was, and then the dry bag. Man, that's coming right for us. I think we're going to get pretty wet. You don't have to get wet, but I'll be
That's fine.
delighted to get wet. Also save me the hassle of sitting up here bored out of my mind for 30 minutes while the irrigation runs. There you go. Whoop! Man, that is coming quick.
Yeah.
We got to hurry up and get this in the ground, but I also want to do it correctly. What was hard about the germinations originally is we would use the moisture meter, but it's literally just that top quarter-inch of the soil. Like, you can't measure that. So we would take measurements and the soil's moist, but it's literally like the top, the very, very top of the soil has to be wet, right where the seeds are. And we just, it's been a big learning curve to figure out how to do it.
The mulch, is it getting?
No, because it'll suffocate it. So that's the whole idea with the shade cloth, is that we'll run the irrigation and it'll be the mulch to keep the moisture at the surface. So that we'll be checking this twice a day, if not more.
When I garden, like, seeds will go through a good amount of mulch, especially like loose stuff like this.
Not the trees. I've had the trees coming up and they don't make it.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
like I've tried that. It doesn't work.
Okay.
So we had everything mulched really loosely, and stuff germinated and died, and then we made the bird nest. Stuff germinated and died. So it's just it's all moisture control.
Yeah.
Many of you have been screaming in the comments section almost since the beginning about the need for shade. I have not ignored you. My use of pallets and turning them into an A-frame, that came from a viewer. But the problem and difficulty is that pallets are bulky. They have to come from El Paso, which is 90 miles from Sierra Blanca. And then to get to Sierra Blanca from the ranch, we have to drive down 40 miles of this craziness. We bring pallets when we can, when they're available, when we happen to have the trailer in El Paso. But it's not like every time we come out, we have enough pallets to cover an acre. It's one trip brings enough pallets to cover less than 100 feet. Pallets are good. I'll take them when they're available, but I need something that is more immediate and a lot more compact. A viewer sent me a video, and in the middle of the video, I spotted a low tunnel in the background. Now, I had no idea what it was called or the precise steps to build it, but that's what the Facebook group is for. Everyone quickly explained the name to me and the list of parts that I needed to build a low tunnel successfully. And while it's still not the cheapest thing in the world, it's definitely cost effective. It's just rebar, PVC clips, and 2 types of cloth. But what I like about this system is that I can get 2 or 3 years out of the supplies, potentially even multiple times a year, but probably not. I can just unclip everything, pull the rebar out of the ground, and go move to a new spot. Just let the wind carry it like this, and then walk that way. Yep, and then I think when we get to the end, we can fold it back, and I'll just have you hold it at the end. Just keep it up in the air so it Okay, I'm going to start using some clips just to have some extra hands. Fill your pockets with some clips. Okay, and you're just gonna try to put the fabric in contact with the ground. It's like,
Okay.
if a mouse really wants to get through, or if a rat really wants to get through, it can, but it's gonna have to work. What I enjoyed about working with Blaze out here was the quiet companionship. As you heard us pounding the rebar in the dirt and bending the pipes, there's no idle chit chat or small talk. It's just two dudes working on a goal in the desert, and there's something about working together with somebody without any idle chatter that I find, I don't know how to describe it other than deeply, deeply pleasant. It's so enjoyable to work with somebody on a project where you know you're on the same page, you're working to the same goals, and there's no real wasted effort. It's just Blaze and I working on this little project, trying to achieve a small win so that we can build this grander vision of the desert forest. Okay, I think we can stretch these a little bit. So these center clips, instead of having them perfectly centered, just put it like this level.
Okay.
So take this and, yeah, and then I have that one right below it. That was just a placeholder. If you just take these top clips and move it like a quarter way down, we'll be able to, whoops. There we go. I'm gonna get the irrigation running just because it's gonna need it. And then we'll have to come back with the shade fabric, but we'll do that while the irrigation runs.
Okay.
Well, it's definitely more shaded. It's nice seeing that huge contrast. It's funny because you look under there and it doesn't look all that impressive. It's like just barely getting morning sun. When I came up here at sunrise, this was visibly like still moist a little bit, and now it's already dry. So like we'll grab the mulch from, or the hay from right there, and just as lightly as we can get away with. I think that's the thinnest I can get away with. Like where they're not going to have any trouble whatsoever growing through that. next time it'll go even faster because obviously not going to have to spread hay over it. And just literally put water on top probably twice a day and also I wanted to show everybody the amount of water we went through. Instead of running the drip irrigation line, which goes to absolutely everything on the terrace, this way we can save trips to the water well, which takes an hour. And I went through about 3 gallons of water. That was being, I think, extraordinarily generous in each hole. So over time, as this stays moist, I think maybe filling this little thing up twice will keep everything moist. So we're using a fraction of the water that we were with having the automated system. It's more efficient in every possible way. It's easier on the equipment. It's more effective at keeping the moisture there. You don't have to worry about electricity.
Yeah, it's just more labor now.
Yeah, exactly. It's more labor, but even running the irrigation system, you saw it ran for almost an hour last night.
Yeah.
You're just twiddling your thumbs. So, if I wasn't spreading the hay, I think this would take max 20 minutes. It's not bad.
Yeah.
And most of it's just unclipping. It's been 8 hours and I wanted to check on how everything is doing. And the very first one I checked was here. And what I want to show you was I barely started disturbing the soil. Right there, the very first piece of hay I moved, there's germinations coming up. There's one there. Point the angle. There and there. So I'm not going to disturb any more earth. I can see the soil is still damp all around. I see another germination where my finger is, right down there. So this is working. This is awesome. I like winning. So I'm gonna let it be, and then in the morning I will give it a little more water, but I can look at it and tell it's still moist. Hey Blaze, guess what? I just came from the terraces. It's been 48 hours.
Yeah.
The very first one I checked had 3 germinations.
Nice.
I am so stupid happy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh man, like, thank you for the mulch suggestion.
Sure.
Yeah, dude, it's like I was looking at, I could just see the dirt in there, and it still looks really moist. I didn't even water it today.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help myself. I decided to take a little peek and saw. I'm sure it's the cowpeas or some of the beans or stuff related, but just yes.
Yeah. Well, imagine the shade cloth is helping.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like enormously.
Right.
And I set up the camera for the coyote trap or the coyote bait. So
Okay.
hopefully they come around and keep the rabbits away, and the shade cloth keeps the sun at bay. And
The bait hasn't been disturbed yet?
no, not even.
Okay.
I figured it'd take a week.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. But hey everybody, it's day 3, and I was hand watering on the terrace this morning. I'm inside of the low tunnel, and I'm excited to show you everything that's happening here. But I have to be very careful because I see some germinations that are damaged. But if you look straight down here, right. So this is pointing almost straight down. You can see these clumps of seeds right here coming up. There's more coming up here. There's some growth right in here. And then of course you have these bigger ones up here. I'm very excited because, well, 1, I've got stuff growing, and 2, it's not just one species. At first I thought it was just cowpeas, but I can see that they're all sorts of different sizes. So it looks like the idea is working. And then over here, and this is beyond my visual range, I'm blind, Over here, there's more germination. So this is definitely working. I don't see germinations in every hole, but I suspect that's because the mulch is probably uneven, which is probably okay. I'm sure everything's growing under there. I'm just going to be disciplined and leave things alone because I think the benefit of knowing is not worth the risk of damaging growth that's that young and tender. So I'm going to leave it be. This is my last morning here, and then well, actually, my second to last morning here, but these tomorrow I'll be watering in the dark. And then I'll hand the baton off to Daniel, who can keep hand watering so we can babysit and make sure that these get the absolute best perfect chance to succeed.
Every single bird nest, except for the very first one, has stuff growing. Man, all this is looking good.
Here on the screen you can see Daniel's contribution, which is the idea of using a soaker hose. We do have the drip irrigation in place for later, but the soaker hose is a great addition. It only takes a couple of minutes to water everything. We don't have to remove the clips, and we're basically using the same amount of water. It's a big, big improvement.
These things are angry.
Hey, the jujube's doing pretty well. I didn't even remember this tree being here. Ladybugs. You can see they're eating the aphids.
Which is cool because they decided they wanted to be out here.
I never in a million years expected to find ladybugs out here.
I didn't either.
I also wouldn't
I
have
buy
expected.
them every year for my garden.
It's funny, I was looking around thinking, there's a sweet acacia in here somewhere. Where is it? This thing has exploded. Now, this was not planted at the same time. This was already here when I put the seeds in, but it's grown so much.
It's funny how what little bit of shade this does provide is enough to make this thrive once it's, once it's come up some, because I know the darker shade helped tremendously, but then of course the last big windstorm took that away.
Yeah.
But you can tell by the yellowing of that it needed more sun.
Yeah. This is dramatically better than anything I've done so far, but I see two critical problems. The first is that none of the tree seeds germinated. That is devastating. And there's two potential reasons. One is that the rats are eating the seeds before they get going, and that's very likely. The second is that they can't grow through the little bit of mulch that I put. When I was referencing in the video my desire to minimize the mulch here, it's because trees are epigeel, I think. It means that they can't grow through thick mulch. And the second problem is that all of these plants are sick. There's a reason that they're infested with insects, but you know what? It's something that's growing, and that's dramatically better than where I started. So it's not all fixed, but this at least gets me started. I'm super happy. I obviously have desires, and I think there's a million ways it could be better, but it's a start.